long strings. Following the singing of the national anthem, I will acknowledge the VIPs who have joined us here this evening. I will invite Rhiannon Wright to perform the Welcome to Country and the Nalungu dancers for a traditional corroboree. Following this, the VIPs will say a few words. Once we have heard from all the guests on stage this evening, the Deputy Mayor will be invited back onto the stage to perform the formal proceedings. This is where you'll be asked to perform your pledge. You will find the words inside your program marked number 1 if you are saying the pledge with the words under God, or number 2 with that removed. The Deputy Mayor will ask you to stand. He will read out the words and ask you to repeat them after him. If you have chosen to wear a mask today, we ask you to remove the mask while you're doing your pledge, and then you can place it back on. Following the pledge, the Deputy Mayor will deliver a final speech, and that will conclude the formalities for the evening. The Deputy Mayor and other guests will be available for photographs at the end of the ceremony, to your right, my left. We do ask you to follow directions of staff. Our VIPs will not leave until every single one of you have had a photo if you wish, so please do not rush. We also have the wonderful Girl Guides who will be providing some supper at the end of the presentation as well. So in the meantime, as I mentioned, we'll be back very shortly for a 7:30 p.m. start, so please continue to enjoy the wonderful entertainment this evening. We'll be back shortly. pilgrimage behind you, a collection of journeys and dreams. Today marks the end of your migrant journey and the start of your new journey as Australians. Becoming an Australian citizen does not mean that you should turn your back on your country of origin. It does not mean that you should forget the language of the country, its customs, or its culture. Instead, we ask you to share these most valuable assets with us in Australia and, most importantly, the city of Blacktown. Before we commence with the formal proceedings of the night, we do have some brief formalities to take place. I would like to start by acknowledging the Darug people of the original custodians on the land in which we meet today. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging, and acknowledge the Aboriginal people for their custodianship of this land. We will work together for a united city that respects this land and values the contribution to our community and culture of all people of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander heritage. We are mindful of the rich heritage and culture of our Indigenous people. Theirs are the oldest of the many stories that make up our country. Yours are the newest. I would now like to acknowledge the VIPs who have joined us here this evening. Representing the Mayor of Blacktown City, our Deputy Mayor of Blacktown, Councillor Chris Quilkie. Also joining us this evening is the Federal Member for Greenway and Minister for Communications, the Honourable Michelle Rowland MP. We are also joined here tonight by Councillor Dr. Maninder Singh and Councillor Alan Green. We'd like to acknowledge Rhiannon Wright, who will be performing our Welcome to Country, and our wonderful two youth ambassadors, Anna Simone Nashid and Jemison Dustin. And of course, last but not least, the Nalungu Aboriginal dancers. Ladies and gentlemen, with those introductions, I now welcome Rhiannon Wright for the Welcome to Country.
Which means hello, welcome. Good to see you on Darug country. I would like to acknowledge and pay my deepest respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander elders, past, present and emerging. My name is Rhiannon Wright. I am the daughter of Leanne Mulgrave Watson and granddaughter of Darug elder Auntie Emma Watson. We belong to the Wurundjeri Marlin people of the Darug Nation. Our people were born of this land, born of the spirit.
Alright, how's it all going, guys? We're Nalungu Aboriginal Dance Group. Before we start here today, we'd like to acknowledge country. So we'd like to acknowledge the Darug people, and also like to thank Rhiannon for welcoming us to her country. I'm a Bunjalung man, so I come from the Tweedheads area, top of New South Wales. So yeah, we'd like to acknowledge the Darug people's elders past and present, and also the next generation coming through. We're going to start off with our welcome song and dance. This one here is called Yullawari Bar. The song and dance comes from Quandamooka, North Stradbroke Island, taught to me by my skin father Joshua Walker, and also Raymond Walker. I'd like to acknowledge my elders for passing on that cooperate, or passing on that ceremony here today so we can do it. So for welcome, we say Yullawari. Thank you. Next song and dance, so I'm going to do a few song and dance for you guys here today. Next one here called Buwangan. Buwangan is the grey dolphin. In this song and dance, it talks about the men snapping the spears on the water's edge to send that vibration through the water. And what would happen, dolphins would respond, and they would hear the vibration and respond by driving all the fish into a bay area or into our nets, so we could spear them, or like I said, into our nets. But at the end of the fishing, we'd always give a proportion of the catch back to our brothers and sisters, the dolphins, for helping us in the fishing. So we say Baraka for calling, or Buwangan for the great dolphin. Thank you. Next song we're going to do for you is the dance of the white-breasted seagull. This one here tells a story of the natural law about the seagull circling above the ocean in wintertime. So what he's doing, he's circling above the ocean until the migrating mulletfish come through our waters. But when he hunts the migrating mulletfish, he must follow that natural law. So the leader fish, we just call them the elder fish. Fishermen call them the pilot fish. Once they have passed them through safely, the seagull will begin his hunt in the middle or at the back of the schools of fish. As soon as the seagull comes down, that's an indicator for us that we're allowed to hunt the migrating mulletfish. If we hunt the migrating mulletfish while the seagull is still circling, we'll actually scare the fish into deep water, and then, next fishing season, the migratory path will be set out deep. By 5 years from now, the migratory path will be set out, too far. 10 years, the path will be lost. And this is why we do the song and dance, just to teach your kids about those natural laws. So this one here, Meta Gimpa, the dance of the white-breasted seagull. Thank you. So we're going to do two more song and dance. Next one is called Garagan. Garagan is the dance of the crane. This one tells a story about the crane flying out early in the morning, searching for his feeding ground. Some dances, his brothers, they'll fly, and then after they find a suitable feeding ground, they will feed, and then when their belly is full, they will dance and play. This one here, Garagan, the dance of the crane. Thank you. We're going to finish off with our farewell song and dance, which can also be used as a welcome, but we're going to use it here today as a farewell. This song and dance come from Gabi people up at the Sunshine Coast. Also Waka Waka, which is South Burnett. It's funny to tell a story about the bunya pine tree. So the bunya pine tree is a big pine tree. At the top of the pine tree, they got the bunya pod. So the bunya pod is about that big. Inside the pod there's a nut. And Aboriginal people will cross that nut up to make flour. Sort of like, you probably know, like a pine cone is about that big, but the bunya pod is that big. We believe as Aboriginal people, inside the nut holds special power. But every 3 years, this tree would produce a bumper crop, which is just more of the pods on top of the tree. And up at Gubbi Gubbi country, which is like Sunshine Coast, and also Waka Waka country, which is South Burnett, around the Brisbane area, they would hold a big gathering where they would actually, all the tribes would come together to harvest the bunya nut. It would actually be part of the law for the Aboriginal men, so the Darug men from this area, they would travel all the way up to harvest the bunya nut and bring it back home to their people. But at this gathering, special gathering, there'd be marriages arranged, fights would be settled, but they would do this song and dance at the start, and they would also do it at the end, to bid farewell to everybody's spiritual ancestors. So it's called Garing Tanami. Here we have lived upon a flat plain before time began. And for farewell, we say Yue. Thank you, and you are.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Blacktown Citizenship Ceremony. I too would like to acknowledge that the Darug people were the original custodians of the land on which we meet today. We pay our respects to elders past, present.
Thank you for deciding to become an Australian citizen. Today you join a nation that is one of the world's most successful multicultural societies. Around half of all Australians are either born overseas or with at least one parent born overseas. In Australia, everyone should be proud of who they are, and everyone should be respected, valued, and feel a sense of belonging. We are privileged to share this beautiful country with the world's oldest continuing culture.
What does it mean to be an Australian? Do we get to ride kangaroos to school?
Yeah, no. Do I chuck shrimp on the bottom?
No. Will magpies try to kill me?
No.
From this time forward under God, I pledge my loyalty to Australia and its people, whose democratic beliefs I share, whose rights and liberties I respect, and whose laws I will uphold and obey. Congratulations on becoming Australian citizens. You can be seated. We now move to the swearing of. Blacktown City values our residents, your culture, your ideas, and the contribution that I'm sure you will make to the prosperous future of our city. Once again, on behalf of Blacktown City, I would like to congratulate you on becoming Australian citizens. I trust that you have fond memories of today, and I wish you many more happy times in this great city and in this wonderful country of Australia.